Hello, Carmen here. I am a myofunctional therapist. I'm an educator. I am here to talk to you today about what you can do right this minute today. Well, not right this minute because I want you to listen to me, but what you can do to start making changes for yourself. So, what I mean by that is figuring out if you can nasal breathe or not. A lot of you come to me and you say, I'm a mouth breather, but I don't know what to do to get started. And so, one of the things that I do with my clients or potential clients when I'm doing a comprehensive exam is we have to figure out whether you can nasal breathe or not. And so, you taking the time to sit down in your chair today, relax, and kind of walk through this self discovery, that's going to be helpful for you because it's going to give you a little bit of insight on where to go from here. So what does that look like to try and figure out whether you can nasal breathe or not? Some of you know that you absolutely can't. Some of you have a nose that feels like it goes 90 degrees. Obviously not that extreme, but many of you who come to me have been told umpteen times that you have a deviated septum, you have concerns that you should have taken care of, and you don't do anything about it. So if that's you and that's sitting on your heart, then you need to get out your phone and you need to call that person who is going to help you get started today. Because I wholeheartedly think that if you know that you have a concern, it's important to understand the consequences of ignoring that. And if somebody has told you that you need to have surgery on deviated septum, if you have polyps, swollen turbinates, those type of things, if you have been told that you need to have a roto-rooter job on your nose, then you probably should do it if it's preventing you from nasal breathing. So what I have my clients do when I'm doing a comprehensive exam is I have them demonstrate 10 nasal breaths. What I'm doing during that time is I'm trying to figure out if they have what's called a patent nasal passage. So that means that they can nasal breathe. So when I have people start doing that, I have them sit and relax and start to take breaths. So if you're doing this at home, I would say sit in your chair, relax, feet on the floor, sit upright. You're obviously not going to breathe well if you're all hunched over doing something crazy like that. So sit up, be natural, have good posture, and relax. So don't come in from exercising and try and do this. Don't come in and do this after you've just come up the stairs or brought in 27 bags of groceries. Okay, so sit and chill for 5 minutes. Then I want you to see if you can nasal breathe. So you're going to pay attention to a couple things. Are you thoracic breathing or chest breathing? Are you struggling to accomplish it? How many of those 10 breaths can you take? So what I'm looking for when I'm doing an exam with somebody is, can they do it? The other thing I'm looking for is, are they real shallow thoracic breathing, which looks like this? So if you see your chest or your shoulders moving, some people start to nasal breathe, and the first thing that I see is their eyeballs get ginormous, you guys, and that's because it's not normal for them, and so they kind of start to panic. So if you start to feel like that, those are the things that we're looking for. I will tell you this, we're looking for can do it or can't do it. So first of all, we're looking for a physical barrier on can you not do it? Absolutely. If you cannot get air through one or both nostrils, then there's a concern there. Now, I'm not saying that this doesn't feel challenging to you, that this doesn't feel a little bit scary or unnatural. If you are a mouth breather, this isn't going to be your jam. You're going to just feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. But if you are a nasal breather, you might just be sitting like, okay, I'm good. This is totally natural for me, which is great. So those are the things. If you're figuring out doing this exercise that I can do it. I don't like it. I don't love it, but I can do it. Then you are going to be able to get started with myofunctional therapy in most cases. If you can't, that's when I want you to pick up the phone and contact your ENT. It could be your allergist. It could be a combination of the two. Anybody that's going to help you be able to nasal breathe, okay? Because I can't start teaching you to nasal breathe if you have a physical barrier. Now, let me just touch for a minute on what I just said about your allergists and meds. I'm not a huge fan of meds. I work to get many of my clients off meds. Many of you guys know that I also used to take 4 allergy meds a day, and now I don't take any. But sometimes we have to have a little bit of help and some traction to get going. So I may have clients that go to their allergist, something that's going to help while we kind of break that cycle so that we can get going in the direction of treating the root cause or finding the root cause resolution and helping my clients get off their pills, which is always what I aim for. So as you go through these exercises, you're going to kind of be making 2 decisions. Can I not do it? And then I need to talk to my doctor, because it's not worth it for you to sit and wonder. Talk to your doctor, do what they recommend you doing so that you can learn to nasal breathe with the help of a myofunctional therapist. If you can do nasal breaths or some of them, I always tell my clients, if you can nasal breathe for a minute, you can nasal breathe through life. It's just part of getting started, okay? So what do you do? Once you go through these things, what do you find? Well, I just told you, if you find you can't do it, you need to contact your doctor. You might need to see your allergist. Maybe you have allergy pills that you're supposed to be taking that you're not, those type of things. So you got to get compliant in that department. If you can, it's just not your normal, or it's a little challenging, or perhaps maybe you can nasal breathe, but you have other myofunctional impairment, I encourage you to find your person. That does not have to be me. I always tell you guys that. It is more about you finding somebody who has a great personality match with you, somebody who you know, like, and trust, and they can take you on the journey. There's a lot of craziness out there, and you need to trust that person. So find that person, whether it's me or somebody else. Now, if you are like me and you like to do a little bit of me search before you start digging, then at the bottom of any of my blogs, let me put it up here for you. At the bottom of any one of my blogs, and the link is right here, fancy stuff, you can get a couple things. So I have a sleep tools download that you can get. I also have an assessment tool. This assessment tool is so popular because it gives you the chance to take 25 of my most important questions that I'm going to ask you during a comprehensive exam. Walk yourself through it. See if it sits on your heart. Does it resonate with you? Don't ignore it. Be honest. That self-discovery is part of the process. If you have a kiddo, the same thing. So it's the same questions, but you're going to be answering them for your kiddo. Find that assessment, use it to your advantage. This is what my partners all across the world use when they're screening people before referring them to me. So it's just it's just a rung on the ladder, if you will, on if it makes sense to talk to a human. Okay, so whether that's me or somebody else. If that's me, you can always start with a free assessment. That's 30 minutes where we're going to visit. I have 2 things I'm trying to do in that assessment. Answer your questions and see if it makes sense for you to pay for an exam, because I never want you to pay for an exam and then I tell you that you're fine and you don't need it. So get those, or find somebody, whether it's in your town, in your area. The resources are out there, so ignorance is not okay, you guys. We want to help you, and that's why I do what I do. So next week, I am going to be doing something that you are totally not expecting from me, so kind of a surprise. So I'll see you next week for that. And last, remember, if you love what I do, share. If you have somebody who has a concern, maybe it's a sports team, or somebody on your kid's soccer team, or somebody in your church group, whatever. We have YouTube. I have the Tongue Tie and Myofunctional Therapy support group. They are great communities to ask questions and get support. So have a beautiful day, and I will see you next week for your Myo Minute. Bye for now.